All right, so today we're going to be tackling something truly unique.
Yeah?
It's a collection of notes and sketches and
Oh,
ideas
wow.
that feel like we're kind of decoding the mind of a modern-day philosopher.
Okay.
But the thing is, these aren't, polished essays or articles.
Right.
It's really raw, unfiltered thinking.
It's like being handed somebody's brain dump
Yes,
with all of its, like, messy brilliance and contradictions.
exactly.
And I think our challenge here is to sift through it all,
Mhm.
find those golden nuggets,
Yes.
and just see what we can learn from this wild intellectual journey.
Yeah, and trust me, there's a lot to unpack here.
Okay.
I mean, we're talking utopian society blueprints. We've got cryptic tarot readings,
Huh.
even a plan for a website called bootgamazon.com.
Wow, that's,
It's all over the place.
Yeah.
But there are these recurring themes
right.
that we can start to piece together.
Yeah, one of the most striking elements is this concept of OMNIA,
Yes.
this vision for a utopian society that
Mhm.
pops up again and again. And what's so fascinating is that it's not just vague idealism.
Yeah,
This person lays out some very detailed plans for societal change.
exactly. It's not just like, wouldn't it be nice if?
Right.
We're talking specific proposals, like universal basic income, a 32-hour work week, a redesigned job market.
Interesting.
And they even have these sketches of what looks like a city on a hillside offering refuge. I mean, it's ambitious to say the least.
What's interesting to me is that level of detail. You've got specific figures for this universal basic income,
Right.
calculations for a minimum wage of $20 an hour, blueprints for the city on a hillside.
Yeah.
It's like they're trying to prove it's possible, not just dream about it.
Yeah, okay, so let's unpack this OMNIA concept a little further.
Okay.
What exactly does this utopia look like?
Right.
And what are the underlying values that are driving these visions?
Well, from what I've gathered, OMNIA seems to be built on, these principles of equality, sustainability, and community. That universal basic income aims to ensure that everyone has at least a basic standard of living.
Right.
While the 32-hour work week is about freeing up time for personal pursuits and, community engagement. And the redesigned job market seems to focus on meaningful work that contributes to the common good.
So it's not just about, material well-being.
Right.
It's about creating a society where people have a time and the resources and the opportunities to thrive on multiple levels.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like a more holistic approach to societal well-being.
Okay, interesting.
And the city on a hillside idea kind of reinforces that sense of community and shared purpose.
Yes.
It's almost presented as like a refuge, a place where people can come together to build a better future.
It's a compelling vision, but it definitely raises some questions about feasibility.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, could a 20% tax on all goods and services really fund such a radical shift in social structures?
Right.
And what are the potential consequences, both positive and negative?
Those are crucial questions.
Yes.
And honestly, it's hard to say without really delving deeper into the economics and the logistics of it all. But I think what's clear is that the creator of OMNIA
Yes.
is deeply concerned about the current state of affairs.
Yes.
And that concern is what seems to be driving this utopian impulse.
And that brings us to another recurring theme in these notes.
Okay.
This idea of silent weapons for quiet wars, which is a pretty intense concept.
Yeah.
And it seems to be central to the creator's critique of society.
Right. It's about methods of control that don't involve direct violence.
Okay.
And it's focusing on things like economic manipulation, psychological warfare,
Okay.
technological surveillance.
Got it.
Like they're saying that these silent weapons are being used to maintain the status quo
Yes.
and keep people complacent.
So they're connecting these silent weapons to the very problems that ONI is trying to solve.
Exactly.
Like they're saying, look, this is how the system is rigged against us,
Right.
and this is why we need a radical alternative.
I think that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And I think that's also where the call for a peaceful revolution comes in.
Yes.
They seem to believe that we can dismantle these systems of control and build a better world.
Okay.
But it requires a fundamental shift in awareness
Right.
and a collective effort to reclaim our power.
There's a definite sense of urgency in these notes.
Right.
Like this feeling that things are reaching a breaking point and that we need to act now.
Okay.
It's almost like a manifesto for change,
Right.
but with a spiritual and philosophical undercurrent.
Yes. And that's what makes this so fascinating.
Yeah.
It's not just about political or economic reform.
Right.
There's a deep yearning for meaning and connection.
Okay.
It's like they're searching for solutions to these societal and these existential challenges.
And that brings us to a rather intriguing element.
What's that?
This recurring image of a tree with extensively tangled roots that are labeled, they're an invasive species. And it pops up throughout the notes. And I can't help but wonder what it might symbolize within the context of all these other ideas.
It's a powerful visual metaphor.
Yes.
And it definitely adds another layer of complexity. It could represent the systems of injustice that they're fighting against.
Right.
The silent weapons that are choking the life out of society.
Yeah.
Or perhaps it's a commentary on human nature itself.
Okay.
You know, the darker impulses that lead to conflict and division.
It's almost as if they're suggesting that these invasive species are both external and the internal. Like we need to address the systemic issues and the individual flaws that contribute to the problems that we face.
Yeah, and that duality is reflected in the way they jump between these grand societal visions and these intimate personal reflections.
Yeah, it's like we're getting glimpses into their inner world.
Yes.
Alongside their plans for like revolutionizing the outer world.
It's a wild mix.
It is 1 minute it's economic theory, the next it's godless ocean, trying to keep my faith.
Yeah, this person's going through it.
I know.
But yeah, that tension between that grand vision and the personal struggle really comes through.
Yes.
And it makes you wonder if they see this utopia as a solution for both. You know, not just societal ills, but also their own internal conflicts.
And that leads us to like the next layer of this puzzle.
Okay.
The creative expressions that are woven throughout these notes. We're talking sketches of product designs, website layouts, even a proposal for a podcast.
Oh.
It's like they're using every tool at their disposal to explore these ideas and communicate them to others.
It's a fascinating blend of pragmatism and artistry.
Yes.
You see it in that sketch for the bootlegamazon.com website,
right?
Which combines a practical business idea with a playful, almost rebellious name.
Yeah, and the layout of the website's interesting too.
What's that?
It's like store, school, library. It suggests a space for commerce, education, and the sharing of knowledge all intertwined.
Yeah, maybe a reflection of their utopian ideals. Like a world where those elements are seamlessly integrated.
Yes.
Rather than siloed.
Exactly. Yeah. So what stands out to you about this juxtaposition of, you know, societal critique, utopian visions, and creative expression?
What's starting to click into place as we dive deeper into this person's mind?
For me, it's the sheer scope of their thinking.
Okay.
That's really impressive.
Right.
They're not just focusing on one aspect of the problem.
Right.
They're looking at the whole picture. Like the political, the economics, the social, the spiritual, even the technological.
Yeah.
It's like they're trying to map out a path to a better future on all fronts.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
And it speaks to the complexity of the challenges that we face. You know, there's no easy fix. There's no silver bullet.
Right.
It requires that multifaceted approach, that willingness to embrace both the big picture and the individual pieces of the puzzle.
And maybe that's what makes this deep dive so compelling.
Right.
It's a reflection of the anxieties, the hopes, and the dreams of our time.
Exactly. That this individual's yearning for a better world.
Yes.
It resonates with a lot of people, I think.
It does.
And their willingness to grapple with these difficult questions and explore these unconventional solutions is something we can all learn from. It's like they're saying we need a complete system reboot, not just a few tweaks here and there.
Right.
And they're not afraid to get specific about how to achieve that.
Like with their American plan.
Exactly.
This is a bold proposal.
Yeah.
A 20% tax on all goods and services, a 32-hour work week, a 1,222-hour monthly wellness stipend.
It's radical.
It is.
But it's laid out in such a way that makes you think, okay, maybe this could work.
It's like they're really trying to make a case for it.
Right. There's a real tension there, isn't there? Like this utopian idealism clashing with a very pragmatic approach to policy.
Yeah, it's not just daydreaming. It's like, here are the numbers, here's how we pay for it.
Exactly. And I think that's what makes this deep dive so compelling. It's a reflection of those anxieties and hopes and dreams we were talking about.
Yeah.
This person's just put them all down on paper.
And with some serious artistic flair, too.
Yeah.
Like, remember those sketches of protective body armor and augmented vision lenses? It's like They're envisioning a future where technology can both protect and empower us,
Right.
but also acknowledging its potential for harm.
Definitely a hint of dystopian anxiety.
Yes.
Mixed in with that utopian hope.
Right, and that Bootleg Amazon website is another great example.
Oh, yeah, how so?
It's got this playful name,
Uh-huh.
but the layout is all store, school, library,
Interesting.
like suggesting a very intentional blend of commerce education and knowledge sharing.
Almost like they're trying to reclaim technology for the common good.
Yes.
Instead of letting it be used for control and manipulation.
Like those silent weapons we were talking about.
Exactly. And it's interesting how they connect those political aspirations to a specific dollar amount, $14.8 trillion, and a target year of 2042.
Like it's a prophecy.
Right. It's like a goal to strive for,
Yes.
a concrete target to rally around.
And that ties into their whole idea of peaceful revolution.
Uh-huh.
It's not about overthrowing the system through violence.
Right.
It's about using education awareness and strategic action to create change from within.
They even outline a path to reforming government
Okay.
with the focus on innovation, building new platforms, and strategic voting.
Interesting. So it's about empowering people to participate in the process
Exactly.
and shape their own future.
And there's a real emphasis on individual responsibility, too.
Yes, I was just thinking about that.
Remember that line, "Right now, my species might not be ready, lacking the maturity to overcome our own limitations."
Yeah, it's a call for personal growth, for
Uh-huh.
each of us to do the inner work
Right.
necessary to create a better world.
It's a humbling message.
It is.
It's not enough to just blame the system
Right.
or wait for someone else to fix things. Real change starts with each of us. Yes.
Examining our own beliefs, values, and actions.
But it's also hopeful. There's another line that really struck me.
Which one?
Given the incredible progress we've made as a species, could you imagine what we might be like in the future? It's like they have this unwavering faith in the potential of humanity,
Yeah.
even amidst all the chaos and challenges.
It's a beautiful sentiment.
It is.
And it reminds us that the work we do, the ideas we share, the love we express, it all contributes to a legacy
Yes.
that extends beyond our individual lives.
Okay, but let's be real.
Yeah.
All this grand vision stuff can feel a bit overwhelming.
for sure.
Like, where do we even start?
Right.
This person's talking about revolutionizing society, reforming government, achieving world peace.
It's a lot to take in.
It is.
And I think it's important to acknowledge that sense of overwhelm.
Okay.
But maybe that's part of the point.
What do you mean?
This deep dive isn't meant to give us all the answers
Okay.
or tell us exactly what to do.
It's about sparking curiosity, challenging assumptions,
Yes.
and inspiring us to think bigger about the possibilities.
So instead of getting bogged down in the details,
Yeah.
maybe we should focus on the core principles that are driving this person's vision.
Like what?
Things like equality, sustainability, community, and the power of individual action.
Those are ideas we can all connect with,
Exactly.
regardless of our political beliefs or personal circumstances.
Right. It's about finding that common ground,
Uh-huh.
the shared values that can unite us
Yeah.
in the pursuit of a better future.
And maybe, just maybe, by focusing on those core principles, we can start to build a world
Yeah.
that reflects the best of humanity rather than the worst.
Now, I know we've been talking a lot about the societal and political implications of this person's ideas,
Right.
but I want to circle back to the spiritual and philosophical aspects
Uh-huh.
that are woven throughout these notes.
Yeah.
Because it's clear that this isn't just about changing the world out there. It's also about a deep inner transformation.
Absolutely. And that inner transformation seems to be rooted in a search for meaning,
Okay.
a connection to something larger than oneself.
Like, remember those reflections on faith and the godless ocean?
Yeah, this person is wrestling with some big existential questions.
It's like they're saying, if life is meaningless, then we have a responsibility to create meaning,
Right.
to build a world where love, compassion, and justice prevail.
It's a powerful motivation.
Is,
And it speaks to that human need for purpose,
yes.
for something to believe in that transcends our individual lives.
And that brings us to the tarot card readings.
No.
Scattered throughout these notes.
I haven't even touched on those yet.
I know there's a whole section
Okay.
devoted to specific cards like the Ace of Swords and the Knight of Cups,
Interesting.
with interpretations that seem to relate to the author's personal journey.
So it's almost as if they're using the tarot as a framework
Yes.
for understanding their own experiences and the challenges they face.
Like a way to make sense of the chaos
Yeah.
and find guidance in the midst of uncertainty.
And maybe that's a lesson for all of us.
What's that?
We don't need to have all the answers or figure everything out on our own.
Right.
Sometimes it's about finding the tools and practices that help us navigate the complexities of life
Okay.
and tap into our own inner wisdom.
And that inner wisdom, according to these readings, seems to be rooted in self-awareness and introspection. Remember the note on the High Priestess card?
Fill me in.
Pensiveness, introspection,
Okay.
love abundant, what's already around uncovers it.
It's about turning inward to find the answers we seek.
So in a way, this person's intellectual journey is a reflection of our own.
What do you mean?
We're all trying to make sense of the world, to find our place in it,
Right.
and to contribute something meaningful.
And maybe that's the ultimate takeaway from this deep dive.
Okay, I like that.
It's not about finding the perfect blueprint or following someone else's roadmap.
Right.
It's about embracing the messiness, the contradictions, the uncertainties, and using our own unique gifts and perspectives to create a world that's more just equitable and fulfilling for everyone.
And maybe, just maybe, by sharing our own intellectual musings and engaging in these kinds of conversations, we can inspire others to dive deep and discover the hidden treasures within themselves.
Because ultimately, that's what it's all about.
Yes, connecting with one another, learning from each other, and supporting each other on this wild ride we call life.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe somewhere out there, this person is listening to this very conversation.
It's possible.
Feeling seen and understood, and maybe even a little bit inspired to keep pushing for that better world they so deeply believe in.
Now, that would be something, wouldn't it?
It would.
To think that our little deep dive could ripple out and touch the life of the very person whose mind we've been exploring.
It's a reminder that even the smallest actions can have unexpected consequences.
And that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
So what will your step be?
You know, it feels like we've only just scratched the surface of this person's mind.
Yeah, even after all this time digging through their notes and ideas.
I know.
There's a real depth to their thinking that just keeps unfolding the more we explore.
And one of the things that I find most striking is how they weave together these grand societal visions with these very personal, almost spiritual reflections.
Right, like 1 minute they're laying out a plan for a universal basic income.
I know.
The next they're talking about the godless ocean and trying to keep their faith.
Right, it's such a unique blend of like pragmatism and introspection.
And those two sides seem to fuel each other.
Okay.
You know, their yearning for a better world is informed by their own struggles, their own search for meaning.
Like they're saying, I'm trying to fix the world because I'm trying to fix myself.
Exactly.
And that brings us back to those tarot card readings we mentioned earlier.
Oh, yeah.
They really add another layer to this whole idea of, you know, personal transformation being intertwined with societal change.
Absolutely. It's like they're using the tarot as this tool for self-discovery, a way to kind of understand their own patterns and motivations.
Yes.
And those insights then feed into their vision for a better world.
There's a note on the Ace of Swords card that really stood out to me.
Oh, tell me about it.
It says, truth cuts through illusion.
Okay.
A new beginning is possible, but it requires clarity and courage. It feels so relevant to everything we've been talking about.
It does, doesn't it? It's like they're acknowledging that real change can be painful, that it requires us to confront these uncomfortable truths about ourselves and the world around us.
Okay.
But it also suggests that this process of like cutting through illusion can lead to a profound sense of liberation and renewal.
And maybe that's the key to unlocking the potential of this person's ideas.
What do you mean?
It's not just about adopting their specific proposals.
Okay.
It's about embracing the underlying spirit of their vision.
Like what?
You know, that willingness to challenge assumptions, to seek truth, to believe in the possibility of something better.
And to do the inner work necessary to make that vision a reality.
Right. Remember that line from the High Priestess card?
Refresh my memory.
Love abundant, what's already around uncovers it.
Oh, yeah. It's a reminder that we already have everything we need within us to create a better world. We just need to uncover it.
Yes.
To cultivate it, to share it with others.
There's another tarot note that feels particularly relevant to our conversation.
Okay, which one?
It's on the Knight of Cups card.
All right.
And it says, a messenger of hope arrives offering inspiration and a new perspective. I like to think that maybe this person, in their own way, is a messenger of hope.
I think that's a beautiful way to put it.
Thank you.
You know, they're offering us a glimpse of a different future.
Yeah.
A future that's rooted in compassion, creativity, and a deep connection to something larger than ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And whether or not we fully embrace their specific proposals,
Right.
I think there's a lot we can learn
Yes.
from their willingness to dream big and to challenge the status quo.
And maybe that's the most important takeaway from this deep dive.
Yeah.
It's not about finding all the answers
Right.
or having a perfect roadmap for the future.
It's about being open to new possibilities,
Yes.
to different ways of thinking and being.
It's about cultivating that sense of wonder and curiosity that allows us to see the world with fresh eyes
Yeah.
and to imagine a future that's more just equitable and fulfilling for everyone.
So as we wrap up this exploration of one human's intellectual musings,
Yes.
I'm left with a sense of gratitude
Me too.
for the opportunity to dive deep
Yeah.
into such a rich and complex tapestry of ideas.
It's been a privilege to share this journey with you
Absolutely.
and to witness the unfolding of these ideas together.
And to all of you listening out there,
Yes.
we hope this deep dive has sparked something within you.
A question, a challenge.
A glimmer of hope, a desire to create something beautiful and meaningful in the world.
Because ultimately, the power to create change lies within each and every one of us.
So go out there and make some magic.
Yes, the world is waiting.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.